And we are live. It's showtime, ladies and gentlemen, isn't it? Whilst the control structure is falling apart, not knowing what to do, well, how should we explain this agenda that we try to implement, which is completely illegal even in the system that we operate in as state representatives? And the guys in the background that give us the commands, they want us to implement technocracy, and that means we have to have a coup d'etat throughout the world in 2020 and take out all the nation states when we are elected by the people. Okay, even in these fake elections that we have in representative governments, and those government institutions that we work for as politicians, our border to anything that we can do are laws that we put in place, even nonsensical laws. But now we're having to put in legislation, regulation that is not insurable and not insured, and we're all privately liable. How are we going to explain this to the people once the shit starts steering and it's all falling right in our faces? What are we going to do? They've got nothing anymore. They can't explain themselves anymore. Whereas, as it says in the title here, true Gnosticism in action, the Gnostic Takeover unleashed. So we're just getting started. New ideas, new things come into our minds the whole time. Everything keeps changing. We're aligning with the will of the source, which is guiding all of us. You listening here, guided by the highest source, the source of all creation, from which everything originates. And that is the force of the one and only true source, the entire force working through us. And the control structure can't handle it. And the archons can't handle it. The enemies of life can't handle it. And their boss, the demiurge, can't handle it. We've got true Gnosticism in action here. And it's so powerful that it's finally gotten to that point. Really, what I'm experiencing right now is that more and more people are starting to slay. What are you gonna do, huh? Look at that man. Okay, I don't know where this picture was taken. I think in Germany, could be in Berlin. Okay, we have to check that out. But this is exactly what it takes. A picture tells more than 1,000 words. What is true spirituality? What is true Gnosticism? You got it right there. What are you gonna do, boy? You think you're gonna get away with things in your little suit? You think you can pull your gun and shoot me? Well, go ahead. And they're just a bluff. They're just a bluff. And this is what we're seeing right now. People are standing up in their power. They're not waiting for mass demonstrations. Well, lots of people still are waiting for that. But more and more are realizing what is really the cause of the problem that we've had here in our world. And are beginning to realize that we have given our power away and we're taking it back now. Look at that guy in that picture, staring him right in the eyes. I know you're a bluff. I know you are. You represent a control system that is a complete bluff. I'm protecting my family. You see, this is true spirituality. I'm protecting my human family. If I wear this muzzle and obey to any of these criminal orders, I become a criminal. That's how it goes. This is the simplicity of the teachings of the source. If I ever wear a muzzle, I become the criminal because I am complicit in criminality. To myself, not breathing oxygen, to the children sitting in schools being forced tested by pathetic, ignorant teachers. Okay, this is something that goes deep into my heart because I'm a teacher too. And those children are wearing the muzzle at school, being forced to wear them. Our children, who we have to raise our voice. Okay, these are the things you do not see only with the eagle's view. That's why whatever the eagle does, when the eagle, through the force of the one and only source, when the eagle comes through you and manifests in your behavior, you're not taking this shit any longer. They make everything what the eagle does illegal. That's a definition of criminal law. It's illegal to be the eagle in a human form. I know what's going on. I can see. And I'm the one who makes the difference. And I will show each and every one of you out there what it means to be a human being. And I'll learn it every single day by standing up. Because you have no power over me, do you? I'm going to find out. And we find out today also with our dear friend Eril, who's getting out of the attack that he's been under, being thrown into a prison cell on Friday evening, okay? Completely criminally, completely illegal, and they know it, and now they're running from us. And we're going to show up there again tomorrow. Also very kind as we were today, because that's what we are. We're good boys. We're very good boys. Good manners, diplomatic skills. We're diplomats of the planet. But we ain't taking shit. And that's where you really get to something, you know, and where you really make a difference. So I'm so happy to have our dear friend Ahmed here on there again. Welcome, Ahmed.
Hey, how's it going, Steve?
It's going really well. I'm chilling out here with the stone of the pyramid in Austria.
Beautiful.
Good energies coming through. And yeah, what have you got to say about the energetics at play right now? I have a feeling everyone's starting to slay. And it's good.
This is the ancestors coming through us now into the people. So what's happening here in London? I even saw a video just now. Actually, someone sent in one of the groups I'm in on Telegram. Keir Starmer, the opposition party of the Labour Party here, a gentleman was really slaying him today. I want to share the video after this. We finish this live stream with the Gnostic Takeover channel. This is now embodying in the physical reality matrix. This energetics, the energetics that we're working with is working. All right. You want to see how it works? This is what you do. You bring forward the ancestors. You work with the land. And what happens? The people start to receive the ancestral forces and the warrior spirit, the rising spirit of the land that's now being already activated, as you have done so with the pyramid. And this is a great example of how we stand in our power, because when we work with the notice of liability and those actions, and as you said, I think earlier, you said diplomacy, we come with manners. We don't come with aggression and nonsensical screaming and shouting and finger pointing. We come with a smile and letting them know with full confidence, we are in charge. Not you, not the managers, not the administrators of this satanic cult that are being controlled. We are in control. And we are working. When we say control, it's a very loaded term, but we are working with our planet and with the ancestors now. And it's all coming forward. And you'll see it's all going to start to rise even more, these energies, as the sun, right? The Ra, the power of Ra is coming through, and this is it. This is the beginning of their end, and we're seeing it now, especially with our brother Eril as well.
Yeah, I tell you, we were with Errol today, and big shout out to Errol, our very, very dear friend and truly loved brother. Because you see, I saw Errol today. What a situation to be in. Got thrown into a prison cell on Friday. Okay, these bastards. Okay, I call them that. You, the people in the police force in Wels. Okay, we're gonna find out your names, and there's gonna be consequences for what you do. Okay, you're not just taking orders and think it's everything all right because you're wearing that uniform. No, this is not according to natural order. You're on this planet, citizen of this planet, and guess who's in charge of this planet? The ones who align with the will of the planet. And she's coming through, the power of the earth. And they wanted to give him pork to eat. Okay, he hardly had anything to eat. This is what they give him,
They're
and
starving him.
treat him like shit for doing absolutely nothing but good for humanity. Okay, and then he gets transferred on Saturday to this place. So he spent the night in prison, into a refugee camp. And I saw him today, and there's a guy who stood his ground at every step. At every step. Okay. What was the action that he took? They got like everything that I saw, everything that Errol explained to me, I saw. He stood up to them everywhere. Everywhere. It's so beautiful to see. And with the action that we took today, okay, we came absolutely diplomatic. Okay. When you have the power, I can let it rest there and unleash it when I need to. But you don't have to use any aggression, okay? That is the false way of using the force, okay? This is when you've not dealt with your issues, your internal alchemy, okay? Then you portray aggression outside. But this has nothing to do with the power, the internal power that you have inside. And the whole place was going nuts today where we went. It was amazing. The woman we interacted with most, she was totally on our side. You see, this is how the source works. The ones you interact directly with, they're on your side and they're going to help you because we're good boys, okay? We're good men, just standing up for the truth. And we actually called upon them. We said, well, if you're not going to do anything about this, because they didn't want to let us talk with the authorities there in this refugee camp because we're not wearing a muzzle. So we said, well, you come out here. Someone responsible come out here and talk to us because what you're doing is illegal under the system that you're working in. Okay. And that's what really got to them. It's like, ooh, responsibility coming in. So we said, well, we're going to phone up the police. Okay. That's what we're going to do. And the place went mad. They've never seen anything like it. It's like, we're standing up for our brother. You take one of ours, we're going to take you out. Okay. We're going to have a direct look, and you can't hide behind that wall. You can't hide behind the job that you have. This is the power of liability. And the police came. We gathered information, just basically talked with them. They gave us the basic information upon the law, the actual law that is in place, although it's a crazy regulation and it's all bureaucracy and all that on the refugee situation, but it's a law. So we listened to them and like, oh, okay, didn't know that. And I'm not talking with them about COVID measures, being completely illegal and all that. Didn't have to. I got the information I needed from them, and the next thing that happened is the guy responsible came out and gave us the information that we need to get Errol out. So tomorrow's another day where we enter the sleigh and we're going to be successful. That's one thing for sure, because we're creating that reality. And it felt so good standing up to them today. Beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's the power of the truth, and standing in your truth and standing in your power. It's never underestimate the power of truth, because truth comes from love. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an aspect of love as well. It's another characteristic of love. And It's so powerful. It really is. And like we talked about before, all evil contains the seeds of its own destruction. And that seed of destruction that we have found, well, two main ones, is the responsibility liability approach, and it's also the energetics. So it's very powerful, and these two tying in, this dualities actually tying in and working in symbiosis together is creating the reality we want, because we're taking responsibility for the planet in order to heal and bring back the love, right?
Absolutely. That bringing back the love, and what you said before we came on here, what is it about unconditional love? What are the deeper dynamics of this? Because let's share this with our people. This is massive, you know, because what is love? These are prime foundational questions we need to ask again, I think, because when it comes to one thing we've screwed up in that world, it's love. Okay, we didn't love, you know, we didn't respect life, we didn't love life, because otherwise it would have never come to what we have right now. So what are the dynamics at play here? How can we love? What is the true love?
Right. The first thing you have to look at about love, okay, it's a concept, right? At the moment, it's a conceptual thing, because we say I love you, and we say things like it's all love, and love unconditionally is the biggest lie, biggest mind control trick ever perpetrated on humanity. Now, before people jump on me and start to attack me and be offended by the fact that I don't believe love is unconditional, actually, I know love is not unconditional. It is conditional. Why is it conditional? Because we talked about the self-defense aspect, the masculine aspect of love. Right. So what happens when you start to defend love? There's a condition. You do not usurp love. So there is the condition of love. So love is conditional, but it only has that one condition. Just as natural order and natural law, it's the same thing. Cause no harm. You cause harm, that's the condition. You are no longer entitled to love in that way, because love is only aligned with creation and life. It's not aligned with harm and the negation and the destruction of life. When you are opposing love in that way, love goes, no, 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 no. No, I'm now getting the spears and the swords out, metaphorically speaking. And it's love is ruthless in that way. It will not tolerate that kind of behavior at all. So love is conditional. End of. And this ties in with the martial arts and self-defense aspect. Okay, I've trained. I'm not sure if I've even spoken to you about martial arts in depth and my 20 years of experience and training in martial arts. Now, I'm not the biggest frame guy. I was actually a lot more muscular before the lockdown. I lost a lot of muscle, but I'm going to get that back now. And I'm getting back into the martial arts. I've got
Eril could relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had any, so
yeah, but there's been other muscles being flexed, and that's the muscles of the heart and the mind and the intellect working together. So we have to sometimes balance these things out. So having done 20 years of martial arts, having trained in China, in Japan, in Malaysia, having trained with what I know are the best and the realist teachers that I know, and I had to go through a lot to get to those teachers. It's like the truth, you search for the truth in the martial arts itself. So I really highly advise all parents who are fathers and mothers, every human brother and sister now that is watching this, get into the combative arts, because martial arts will teach you something that no other knowledge will teach you. And you can only attain that knowledge by training the body. The body then informs the mind. and the mind becomes a sharpened weapon as a result, because the combative movement, the dynamics and the meditation of that movement, because meditation is not only stillness, meditation is also movement. They are meditation is a dualistic also aspect. That's also a symbiotic thing. In what I say in that, what I mean by saying that is stillness and movement. Stillness and movement, and that completes the circle, the yin yang principle. Now, the philosophy of Aikido, the philosophy of Tai Chi. If someone pushes, you pull. You don't resist back and push back. If someone pulls, you push and use their own force against them. That's the self-slaying mechanism. Philosophy.
Wow.
You use their own energy and their own force against them by not resisting, but actually going with their force, but pushing them out of it through their own. And it's indestructible. That technique and that philosophy is indestructible. I have seen the oldest men, 80 years old, take down really big. I mean, we trained in Malaysia. We trained with this Tai Chi master in the mornings, doing the Yang and the Chen style of Tai Chi, and he would demonstrate the power. And one of the guys that we had in our school that we went to over to learn, and we paid for this trip to learn to do this camp. This guy was around 6 foot tall, okay, big and muscular. And I still remember John. I mean, John, if you ever see this, you know who you are. So John came in, and the Tai Chi master was like, attack me in any way you like. Don't tell me what you could, just go for it. Don't tell me when you're doing it. Okay, just do it. And as he was talking, John, being the cheeky bugger he is, in the middle of talk, he went for the attack. What happened? He literally grabbed, the fist came in, he grabbed it and pulled him, and he just shot right down to the ground. Fell like a tree so quickly. I've never seen a big man fall so quick. And this was an 80-year-old man, Steve. Okay?
Wow.
So also, when we talk about size, it's such a lie, right? You don't, the idea of the alpha male having to be a certain stature, that's the Anunnaki programming Mark Passio talks about, okay? To program women into thinking the alpha male has to have a certain level of physicality to be the alpha. Big and muscular and tall and hench, right? Let me tell you something. I have been in street fights with big men, twice my size. I'm 5'6". Okay. And not to say, with all humility, I have been beaten the crap out of in the past. I remember when I was 19, I got attacked by a group of 7 guys with all types of weapons. And that's how I got my nose. I don't know if you've noticed, my nose has a scar, and the bone has been bent. And that's from a carjack, a metal, very heavy metal carjack that really disfigured my nose. But the will, this again now ties in with the will. The self-defense aspect ties in with the will. Those two aspects are very linked together. One cannot work without the other. My will was to survive, and boy did I survive. All right. I had it was like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. They all jumped on top of me, all piled bricks, you name it. They had all types of weapons. Our blood was streaming down my face. And through my sheer will, Steve, I managed to somehow move and elbow somebody that created this light. I saw the light come through, and I just, being the small stature that I am, because I am centered and I'm lower to the ground. You see, the taller you are, the less grounded you are. You have actually a disadvantage by being taller. Your your muscles are much longer. Your bones are much longer. You will become slower. Taller people are slower.
Low center of gravity, isn't it?
And exactly, when the center of gravity is again, it's to the advantage of the shorter person. Sorry, shorter man or woman.
Mhm.
to take out the bigger people, especially in the self-defense style. And I remember I used to work in a gym. I used to be a personal trainer for a while. And I remember coming home, I was waiting in the bus stop. And as I was walking to the bus stop, I was walking at that bus stop, two Polish blokes, very burly, very big. One was beating the other guy up. I looked, it's their business. It's none of my business. So I kept walking. Literally took around 3 steps. And out of nowhere, I turned and this guy came and punched me right here. No reason. I had no link, nothing. We don't know each other from Adam. He came and punched me in my lip. Split second. Tall. I looked up. It was like a reaction. Instant reaction. Hacked his knee, because martial arts gives you the confidence to know how to deal with people, no matter what stature they are. And let me tell you, this is something that I did without thinking. Okay? Because that's how you train yourself. You train yourself long enough, you don't need to think anymore. It becomes natural to your body. And I hacked at his knee. He instantly bent, because the knee, when you understand the mechanics of the joints and the weak points of the human body, again, knowledge is power and knowledge in action.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
So as his knees got hacked, his head turned lower, came to my height. I hooked him. And then I come from a philosophy of don't cause excessive harm. I don't like to cause excessive violence on someone, even though if they've attacked me first. Okay? If I'm in control, I'll try and control the situation. I instantly put him in a chokehold. Very powerful. Okay? Where you hold behind the neck, okay? And you use the force like a vice by pushing the head forward and the elbow coming in. Okay? It's a simultaneous action. Again, pull, push, pull, push. And as he was choking, oh, what did I do? What did I do? I said, you came and punched me. I don't even know who the hell you are. Who the hell are you? I don't know. I don't know.
Of course you don't know.
And as I started feeling his body weakening, I let go. And people started running over from across the street. Leave him, leave him, leave him. And this 6-foot guy just gets up and starts walking away from this 5'6" man. And look, for me, it's confidence. I speak in confidence because I've been in these situations. And even growing up in school, being a shorter boy than the rest of the boys in the school, you're a target for bullying. So I learned very quickly at a young age how to stand up for myself. I would bite. I was an aggressive little boy. I would bite. I would use whatever is in my toolkit to defend myself, because the will in me is strong, and I will not allow anyone to bully me. And that was something I had at a young age, from the age of 15 onwards. When I started martial arts, it really started becoming crystallized. And as the years went on, you don't stop learning martial arts. It's a way of life. It's a philosophy. It's a form of movement that will always inform your mind and sharpen it, like a super sharp samurai sword that can slice through a hair. So you keep that sharpened, and that will keep your mind sharpened, because the body allows the mind to be sharpened, not the other way around. The mind does not sharpen the body sharpens the mind.
This is so powerful, man. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I just want to remind the viewers here that Ahmed is talking from tons of experience. Okay? This is true knowledge applied and then shared with all of you guys and ladies. This is amazing. This is amazing stuff. And as you were speaking, this is the beauty of it. You can see the dynamics of the natural order right there in front of you. And you see, the interesting thing about all of this is that me, for example, I come from the completely other direction. Okay, I have the English in me too through my dad, who's a Londoner. I was brought up here in Austria in like a 5,000 people sort of small area village, and I've never been in a fight. Okay, I was kicked once, and I couldn't protect myself. But the way I always went about this is my medicine, for example, is through speech, okay, and direct eye contact, and throwing it at them through my speaking. This is the interesting ways. There's different dynamics at play. There's different sort of talents that we bring into the world. And my self-defense has always worked through communication. And as I was listening to you, you can see the template, you can see the principles and how they apply. And what I want to get into right now is how I started also this live talk. What you're getting at with the push and pull, and the sort of take the most direct way of taking out your enemy is taking their energy and throwing it right back at them, and you're alchemizing it. And what you're doing is you're working with the force, the true, the highest force of the one and only source. And this is when you take the attack energy and you flip it, you alchemize it and use it against the one who's attacked you. Right there, you've solved all the world problems, everything that humanity has ever suffered from, if you see it. Because only by removing the cause of the problem, the attack on you, you alchemize that, and you remove the cause of the problem ceases to exist. So what they've done with humanity is they've uprooted us as a plant in that symbology, okay, in that metaphor. They've uprooted us as a plant, and now we're like, why are we dying? Because you have to go back to the root of the core of your being. And if that's what it takes, what we've had since this world crisis, in order to get our roots back and reroot ourselves and have the force working through us again, then that's a good thing. That's a good learning lesson. And that's why I'm all for Corona. Great. Bring it on, because I hated the world I was in before. I was feeling lonely. I was depressed. The only place I could go to is outside in nature and just cry with my mother. That's all I could do before this whole scam happened. So I'm happy for the dark force to have pulled the trigger so we can come into our power and fully take over. It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's that's what you're talking about, the roots. So in Shaolin, when I went to train in China, the Shaolin means little tree, because the little tree is closer to the center of gravity. But the roots of that little tree, this Shaolin concept, is that the roots are 3 times the length of the tree on the surface, below the surface. The deeper rooted you are, the more immovable you are. And you become so grounded that it's that philosophy again of the roots. And the roots are ancestry, the roots are yourself doing the shadow, the roots are your relationship with nature. Those Trinity principles of knowledge and self-defense. And also, it's very interesting you said about speech. So I have another story, if I may share this.
Of course, you got the platform,
So,
mate.
yeah, I grew up, when I came to London. I moved around a lot because I came from a refugee family, an Iraqi family, and a lot of people who come as refugees are put in the poorest areas. So I had the fortune, and I will say the fortune because my father back in Iraq has great wealth. My family in Iraq was one of the main 5 tribes in Iraq, so there's great wealth. So I come from a family that's well established. But when we came here, and I'd never seen Iraq up until 2 years ago, but when we came here, there was nothing. We had to start from scratch. But that allowed me, the new generation, right, to grow up in this quite hostile environment. And So one of these days in the estate, in this ghetto, right, there's a lot of knife crime in that area. And one of those days, I was walking down with one of my brothers, literal brothers, my family, and we're all family. And we had around 3 people approach us. And one of those young men, should we say, teenagers, pulled out a knife on me. My brother instantly froze, couldn't do anything. But because of my martial arts training, I knew exactly how to handle it. So I looked at the knife, I looked at him, I said, "You're not going to use that." He's like, what were you going to do? Huh? I'm going to juke you. I'm going to juke you. Juke you in slang means I'm going to stab you, right? And I said, "No, you're not." He goes, what are you going to do? I said, "The sky is purple and the lightning is going to strike." What? Random words. Where did that come from? Pattern interrupt. That's one thing I got taught in terms of psychology to avoid actual conflict, because I try to use speech as a first form of self-defense before I have to resort to physical self-defense. I do not like violence. I do not like it, but if I'm forced, don't force my hand and I will take you down. Because I have full confidence in myself and full confidence in the will of my life force energy. Coming from that nature, you are able to influence through the unseen, and the will overcomes their will to wanting to kill you, because the action of killing or harming is the involutionary force. It's the weaker force. It's the opposite of love. But I stood in love. I said, "You're not going to do that." And I'm, using these random funny words. He was confused. He was like, "You're crazy, man. You're crazy. You watch out." I said, "No, you watch out. Because one day, you using that weapon, that's going to be turned against you. And you're the one that's going to be ending up bleeding on the street." He was a young man, much younger than me. I was around in my early 20s then. And because he was around 18, 19, feeling very confident with his knife carrying, it really had I hope I had planted a seed in him that will make him start thinking and questioning. And that's the power of love. That's the power of truth.
Wow. Another fantastic story, mate.
Yeah.
And this is fascinating, what you just shared there. The pattern interrupt. This is big. This is really big. Because what are you interrupting? The program. It's the maverick.
Mm.
It's the maverick. You interrupt that program because the guy that's attacking you or is portraying to attack you, okay, it's all bluff. That's the involutionary force also. It's a bluff. It's a test for you as an involutionary force, a force of evolution, okay? A true Gnostic is a force of evolution where the force works through you. So this is something that I picked up on the way I deal with political arena also. The notice of liability is about the most powerful pattern interrupt there is.
Absolutely.
And as soon as you speak the words also, okay, so for example, you go to a demonstration and the police come up to you and like charge you for breathing air. Yeah, that's a true sign of intelligence, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you don't need air, do you? He's the one running around with a muzzle.
Yeah, try
It's a
chasing me
lunatic
down
asylum.
now. Try chasing me down. You wanna?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leg it. You're gonna try and run after me with your muzzle.
Yeah.
Let's see how
Exactly.
well you fare. How much stamina you have behind that muzzle.
Exactly. What a lunatic asylum. and really, when they approach you, they expect you to just conform and all that. As soon as you start mentioning private liability and you come from somewhere completely different, they're uneasy. You see, they suddenly start to get uneasy because they do not have the background information to what you're sharing. So they're coming with the program, and I want to point this out because this is massive. So they're coming at you with the program. Okay, this is how the matrix works. So you then subordinate yourself to that program. Okay, this is when you take them as the authority of the situation. So you are fulfilling that program, and it's that feedback loop. Okay, how does it end? Through the pattern interrupt, the maverick. I know what's going on here. And you can tell me a million times these are laws. No, they're not. They're regulation. And you're privately liable. Do you know about that? I know about it. I can explain it to you and do a course on it if you want. But you're already out of it. Okay. So you've already messed up and you have to be very careful what happens next. And this is the pattern interrupt. It's massive. And the program breaks down. And that's what we're here to do. What we're talking here in the microscopic version with someone telling you you need to wear a muzzle anywhere, okay, this is how you deal with it. This is what we're here to do. The pattern interrupt, breaking down the program because you're breaking down the loop they're pulling you in. This is the reality loop of the archons. Okay, how? Right there. That's what they do. This is their prime faculty of this control system. Okay, these demons, these vampires. Okay, that's how you get them, by breaking down the program. We're talking about not wearing muzzles and explaining this, the pattern interrupt and breaking down the program. We're talking about transcending the matrix. That's what it is. That's right here. That's how you transcend the entire multidimensional control system. But only when you show the source that you're not only prepared to do this on a Saturday at the demonstration and yeah, let's have a beer. I did well today. Yeah, enjoy yourself. You did really well today. And tomorrow you get up and you do the same thing again in the supermarket. And you own all of them because, again, we go back to the force. It's the will, isn't it, Ahmed?
Absolutely.
My will in alignment, knowing that the force of the one and only source is working through me. The entire force is waiting for me to do that. My will is stronger than the will of the environment. And you were the muzzle, not me. You will have to put it up on this one. And let's see how far you can go with that, huh? How about that?
Yeah. The psychology at play is the will, again, like you said. It's the will, because I haven't been wearing muzzles since lockdown began last year. Not a single. I don't even own a mask. I don't.
Yeah.
I refuse to. The only mask I own is the mask I have as a carpenter when I have to work with these formaldehyde MDF materials when I'm cutting. But that's the only time I wear it, because I don't want that those toxins to go into my lung. And it's a special filter, and the microns are actually what built for purpose. And I don't use it for more than 5 minutes. I don't cut for that long. I just cut what I need and then I take it off. I don't deprive myself of oxygen. It's a practical tool. But for viruses, what a bunch of nonsense. What a bunch of nonsense. These people have no will. The ones that wear the muzzle, they are not selves. They are subjects. Subjects are only robots in a loop, in a programmable loop that keeps going this round and round and round and never breaks out. You want to break out of that loop, you stand in your power and you come out. So this is the power of truth, because once you see the truth and you deny the truth, you welcome negative energies into your life then. Because when you see it and you deny it, suffering will only come. With truth, it's different. There is challenges, not suffering. There's a difference. Because when you stand in truth, there's heart power. There's holistic power. There's the power of source, the power of the planet, the power of nature. And nature is never forced. It grows without force. And just like through the cracks of the concrete, a rose or a flower grows. Wherever there is a crack, nature rises. And that's what we are doing.
So beautiful. And I love to pick up on that. Self and the subject. So important. Know thyself. We need to know ourselves. No one can tell us who we are. The Matrix can't tell you who you are, Neo. You won't get it from anywhere in the environment. And that is the true basis of sovereignty. Okay? I hold up my hand, and that's why we do the high commands. I am a sovereign being. My will is more powerful than the will of the environment for infinite forever, and I'm going to show it. Okay? Even if I'm trembling, I will stand in my power and say yes to myself. This is how powerful this is. And that sovereignty, when we talk about sovereignty and it relates to veritas, okay, the truth, having truth and acting in truth and having the force flow through us, that sovereignty has to be independent of anything that is happening outside of the self. It has to be, otherwise it's not independent, and it is not sovereign if it were any other way. So for all the people that say, oh, we need many more people at these demonstrations, otherwise we get to nowhere, that is exactly the collectivist mind control program right there in another form. Okay. Oh, we all need to take the vax, you see, for this whole thing to end. We all need to do it, no one excluded. We all have to help together. And the same thing in the so-called truth and freedom movement is, oh, we're never going to get anywhere because there's very little people coming to the demonstrations. We had this in Germany, for example, where a guy said, I traveled all these 500 kilometers from Düsseldorf to Berlin and no one's here. And I'm so ashamed of Germany. When are the people going to wake up? Well, you need to wake up, mate, because it doesn't work that way. And it will never, throughout eternity, under the natural order, work in that way. Because the self is, when you know thyself, it is sovereign, independent of everything outside of itself. And that's when we're in the realm of the absolute. Whereas the subject is subject to something outside of the environment. It doesn't matter what. If it's crystal meth, or if it's the law outside of you, or if it's the Pope, if it's the priest, if it's a lawyer, if it's a doctor, if it's a doctor's alliance of trillions of doctors, it doesn't matter, because you as a subject are subjected and relative and dependent upon something outside of yourself. And that's when we get to the relative aspect, which is Satanism, moral relativism. That is one of the key tenets of Satanism, because it is dependency.
Yeah, codependency, the dependency of we need more people, we need more, we need more. Why don't you start feeling, no, I'm going to become as self-sufficient as possible and be as a whole human being, rather than a half human being that needs another half, or a quarter that needs this many people. Okay, we are interdependent. We need each other. Yes, we can only function in a community, in a common unity. But this idea that you come from is by saying, like you said, we need more people. We need more. That's the archontic mind. That's the Satanistic mind. See, you've got to really examine yourself and see how much programming has been done on you, because don't think it just ends with 9/11 and secret societies and all these Project Blue Beam and Project Paper and all these others that we are constantly being attacked with these psyops. Okay, the biggest psyop is already in here. It's already your disconnection from here, your body, from this. Okay, start working on that. Okay, if you're out of shape, start working on your body. Start creating more form and movement. Okay, our bodies are not made to be just stationary. They're made to move. We have legs, we have arms. Okay, and the humanoid form is a combative form in its 5 elements. Okay, so and what did I say? Sorry, when I mean combative, it's a self-defense combative form. Okay, and combat is a form of wrestling. It's a form of, when we talk about fighting, I don't like the word fight. I don't like the word war. That's what the words they use. Yeah, neither do I. Nobody likes war. But there's different concepts to those things. Because where you have war, you have battles, you have combat on the individual level, micro, macro. But then you also have inner combat. Nobody talks about the inner combat. Do you know how much I had to wrestle with my ego and myself? Do you know how many people I interact with that challenge me? And I have to have the humility to start looking at myself and re-examining myself, so I can really get into the deeper aspects of who I am. And the more you do that, it's a daily practice. The more you do it, you sharpen that mind. And then you become so strong when you stand in your power in front of people that are so-called authority. And here's the psychology at play here. What is authority? It's in a high place. It's not in a low place. It's in a high place. So our psychology is, if he's taller or she's taller, I can't deal with that. No, I can deal with that. You know, who can't deal with waves when a surfer goes and tackles the waves in the ocean that are 200 feet long or 150 feet long? Are they scared? They're having fun. They know exactly how the flow of the wave goes. Okay? So this psychology of taller is bigger and better is so wrong and so twisted, right? And I'm not saying either shorter is better either. What I'm trying to say is there's nothing, taller or shorter, doesn't matter. What's going on in the being? What is that? And then from that being, what is that being doing? That's how you know. And you work out the psychology of the people you face every day. You're able to then analyze and see their weak points. And that's how you have the power of speech as a first self-defense mechanism.
So I just want to share this with the viewers. Like, when you're just getting started on the Gnostic Takeover, and just like me and Ahmed, you know, you're taking over. It's all or nothing. You have to take it by the root. You have to take it by the root. This is so beautiful. You know, you lock us down, we take you down. I say it as often as possible. I just love it. You lock us down, we take you down. That is the only solution. I'm ready to say this anytime. It is the only solution. Everything else does not and will never, ever work. Okay? You can have openings, as I saw a video yesterday in London. Like, there was some kind of opening, people gathering and everyone's having a drink again. Oh, have you learned the lesson? Is the question. Have you taken over yet? Now we're getting somewhere. Are we getting it now? Are we getting it now? And I saw this today, and for the viewers, like, before I went to Eril, okay, and I even get a little bit of a hard time by Eril. He's like, Steve, you're doing these high commands too often. It's like, yeah, it could be. I should maybe not do it before I go to sleep and after I wake up. And as I'm drinking the coffee and I'm spilling the coffee because I'm already doing another high command. It's like, maybe I'm overdoing it. But I've been practicing like in a major way. And that's why the high command I did on Tuesday for that pyramid, I mean, Errol can testify to that. I was shocked myself. It's like all these thousands, or I don't know, maybe thousands of high commands that I did before, they all came together just at that one. It was that one that was the clear one. And I stood upon, I held my hand above the peak of the pyramid, okay, the capstone, which we saw, the real capstone of the pyramid, and my other hand up here. And it was so loud. It was really, really loud. And talking directly to the demiurge, and he has to leave. Okay, and we're the capstone. So what I want to share with you is, before we saw Errol today in the car, I did another high command for his freedom. Okay, and it literally, the pedal of the car didn't work. Instantly, as I did that and finished the high command, the pedal is suddenly, our driver is like, fuck, what's going on here? We can't, it's not working. The pedal, we have to turn right, you know, and get this fixed. And he continues driving, and suddenly after 3 minutes, the pedal goes back again and it works again. It's like, this is the energetics at play here. So when you're scared of any situation, okay, and you want support, energetic support, before you go to the shop, before you go to a demonstration or anywhere, you make a high command. I, as the high command of the highest source, say a name. I command that I'm the authority in all situations I encounter as
Mm.
of today. I am the authority, and I have the power to face whoever questions that. And you continue it on however you want it, and you do what I recommend. And this is what I learned from Ahmed: in all directions. It's that wheel,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and that's the most powerful thing that I've ever encountered. And today, the whole situation changed. I was in the position of authority with the police. They were completely peaceful. I was peaceful, and I got information from them. They're not my enemy. The enemy is a mindset that is perpetrated by the archons, the enemies of life. Not any individual I can find outside of myself. No one can be that enemy if it is
Mm.
a mindset. I can't find that enemy. So therefore, I got all the information by police, and I'm standing there, I'm like, oh right, I didn't know about that law. Oh, it's good. And they suddenly like, wow, this guy's listening. And you build a relationship with the police.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And everything
That's the
works.
power. Mm.
Yeah,
That's the power
exactly.
of diplomacy. And that's the thing. We shouldn't look at the muzzled people. Yes, they're asleep, but they're not the enemy. Okay, I know some people are like it's their fault that this is caused as the collective. Yes, by and part and large, it's true. But you have to remember this is a multi-generational mind control that's been going on for thousands of years. You cannot
Mm,
blame a person for being born into the circumstances they're born into their own ignorance. For me, it took me a lot of trauma to experience a lot of suffering before I broke through my programming. And it comes at a price. That's what it is. There's a sacrifice. If you want the truth, if you want true love, it's through sacrifice, and that's through suffering, and you have to endure that suffering, whether that's trauma and you have to revisit those memories in order to transmute them, accept that happened to you, let the emotions come up, express those emotions, love yourself for being brave enough for having that, and keep going, because the next you're going to get another challenge in life that might give you more suffering. It doesn't end because you've overcome one trauma. There might be another one, but the more you practice, the less regular these traumas occur in your life, because you're breaking through that, you're doing the pattern interrupt.
yeah.
So it's very, very powerful to do that, and we can't blame the people who don't know. What we have to do is take responsibility, and all one can do is not shout and scream at them and finger point, say, wake up, what's
Yeah.
wrong with you, you're mind
Doesn't work.
controlled. You're not
Yeah.
going to reach them that way.
No.
You have a
No.
pleasant interaction, and you treat them as a human being, even though they're not fully in themselves.
Mm.
And you plant that seed of thinking, of thought, because that's what we need to get people to do, is think, because
Mm.
they've stopped thinking with their minds, and most importantly, moving with their bodies and connecting with their bodies.
Mm.
So that's what we do. We just put in these seeds and inspire others.
Mm.
Do martial arts. I really recommend, especially women. If you feel it's too masculine, I don't think martial arts is masculine at all. I think it's a dualistic art. It's the yin and yang arts, and we should learn both, because we possess both the masculine and the feminine within us. And when
Mm.
we explore these combative arts, we start to harmonize and synchronize
Mm.
those arts of soft and hard,
Mm.
right? Soft and hard.
Yep.
And in doing so, you learn nature. You learn your
Mm.
inner nature. You learn to connect with nature and see what's hard in nature and what's soft in nature.
Mm.
What's hot and what's cold in nature. Everything has its polarized opposites. And
Mm.
then we start to recognize those polarized opposites within ourselves. And then we start to symbiotically alchemize and become a whole. So we are the yin and yang together. We are the full heart. Okay? So that you
Exactly.
can go with a full heart into relationships, not a half heart looking for your
Mm.
soulmate, Well, guess what? Soulmates don't exist. They don't. It's a lie. It's another new age lie. Twin
No, no,
flames,
no, no.
however.
Now you're going too far. Okay, don't break every taboo in the book. Okay, No, keep going, man.
Yeah,
Keep going, if you will.
yeah, yeah, no,
What was that
absolutely. I
about?
mean,
I thought I
well,
found my
it's
soulmate, man. What are you telling me
yeah,
different now? Okay,
yeah. Well,
don't trigger
that's
me
the
and trigger my
yeah.
healing. Oh, I
The,
can't handle
the
it.
soul, the soul, and the mate, right?
Yeah,
Those words as well we use. Soul mate.
yeah.
Okay, the soul's mating, or the soul's to that's a form of codependence. That's the way I view it.
Mm,
Where twin flame, they stand like pillars.
mm,
So I think I remember when we spoke, I think yesterday, I'm going to quote this from Khalil Gibran: and stand not too near together. Sorry, let me start again. Drink from each other's cup, but do not eat from the same loaf. And stand not too near together, for the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree does not grow in the cypress's shadow. Okay, so
mm.
I hope you can kind of look into that and see the metaphor there that I'm trying to say. That we as soulmates with this constantly mixing and creating dysfunction. What we stand, twin flame, or standing as the pillars of the
Mm.
temple. And that temple is the home you create in your relationship, that safety, but you have that safe distance where you don't constantly in each other's pockets have space, always have space, and respect each other's space. And through that, you're able to have a very strong temple. And from that, a very, very beautiful society forms through that micro family to the macro society that we're trying to create.
That is so beautiful. Thanks for that saying there. This is very deep, and I love those deeply coded and deeply embedded quotes, and just put it out there, not explain too much, but just meditate on that for a minute or two. So that's absolutely beautiful, and I just saw here, and fair play to you, Living Codes, New Age distortion, the twin flame crap. That's what I thought too, by the
Mm,
way. That was also because my detection is also on the new age bullcrap and the bullshit that goes on. This is, if I've got an enemy, I've got that, because that's exactly the mindset of the archons. They fuck nothing more around than the new age hijack and fake spirituality.
mm,
But I just want to take the time here quickly to explain that I can see different dynamics at play here right now. So for me, the twin flame is absolutely accurate. I'm looking for a different expression to that, to explain that dynamic, but it's massively important because it's something that I'm also experiencing in my life, and it is manifesting. So for me, it's the anima to the animus. It's the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. So when we just take as an example the electrical principle, within electromagnetism, the electrical
mm,
is the action, the sort of challenge thinking. I'm going to face this. You're not taking any one of my family. And I'm going to make sure I protect my family. That's the masculine. And there's the feminine to that. To the electrical, there's the magnetism. And that relates not only in the experienced reality out there, because what is true Gnosticism, but the hermetically sealed principle of the inner creating the outer and vice versa. So therefore, what we can observe in the outer as electromagnetism are energetically charged dynamics within our own psyche that we can also pull into our life and find the feminine aspect of myself, or the masculine, as a woman, the masculine aspect of herself
mm,
in another being in the world. And when we're talking about magic, as we've been doing today, isn't that the magic? Isn't
mm.
that the force? It's beautiful. And that's where
Beautiful.
my direction of thought is going. And this is truly magical. If it is so, everyone else make their mind up and just thinking ideas which we're bouncing off here, because that's what it's all about. I'm not interested in telling you how it is. I just realized this myself the last few weeks, and it's beautiful. That's why no one can touch me, because I think those thoughts in between of taking down the matrix. I'm thinking about, wow, those two pillars. And what did Ahmed say again? Oh, that magnetism. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that the magic of life?
Mm-hmm.
How exciting and what an adventure. Great to remember.
Mm. Beautifully said, Steve. That's so powerful what you just said there. Really powerful. And can I say to the the human that talked about the twin flame crap? Yes, in the New Age movement, sadly, it's very feminized again. It's highly feminized, the New Age movement, and there's no masculine balance within that concept, and that's why the New Age is failing. It's attracting a lot more women, and the men that are attracted to that kind of society are the beta males again. It's just another form of spiritual crap. And I agree with him to a certain degree, but they've taken these beautiful concepts like twin flame or twin pillars. You can call it that. You don't have to use twin flame, twin pillars.
And that's a massive concept within Freemasonry also, and the occult. Massive symbology.
And it's the 11-11. That's the 11 principle as well, because that's the gateway to love. Okay, when you meet your lover in life that you're going to share that path with, okay, without judgment, without controlling, without slavedom, right? There's no slavedom. There's no control element in
and
that
no marriage.
Yeah, you don't need marriage. And look, you can have a wedding. There's a difference between wedding and marriage. I think the ceremony of a wedding is beautiful to celebrate your relationship. There's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against that whatsoever, and it's something I would actually like to do one day. The pagan rituals of wedding, and the tryst. When we talk about the tryst, the tryst is also again the trinity of love, two lovers coming and connecting to source, and working through that principle of true light. So you create a beautiful family, you have children, those things are important. And look, all human beings, we are not all the same. We're not all built the same, even sexually. Some of us are monogamous, some of us are polygamous. Some of us are different in our sexuality expression. You've seen these societies. You have polygamous societies in the past, and you have monogamous, which is quite common. But I don't believe in marriage. Marriage is a contract that bonds you. What's a bond? A bond is something that bounds you, that ties you in, that puts a condition. Puts conditions, plural, on love, when there's only one condition, and that's to cause no harm.
This is so powerful. Do you want to continue that trail of thought? Are you good?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I can add to that, but look into the philosophies of Khalil Gibran. Read his book, The Prophet. You'll find quite enlightening things about love there. And I encourage people. We've lost touch with poetry. What's going on with poetry? It's disappeared.
Yeah.
Why is poetry being destroyed? Isn't that art in the word form? And words are numbers ultimately, and numbers, that numerology transcribed is the form of communication to the ether and to the unseen. So when we have a beautiful words to imbue as a message and to put metaphors on, start reading a bit more art as well, and create art and be art. We need to start getting in touch. Yes, be both the artist and the intellect. Do not just be the intellect alone without the artist, because the artist is in the heart, and the intellect is in the order of a natural order. And these things need each other, the heart and the natural order. Again, it's the yin yang principle, the dualistic polarization principles.
So, Ahmed, I want to wrap this up now because I have to say I'm absolutely stunned by this conversation we just had now. And you see, the all these actors of the Truman Show, they don't know how to explain themselves anymore. And me and Ahmed just spontaneously we go on this call, and I'm blown away. I'm just be absolutely honest.
Me too.
Blown away by what we've talked about. And I hope the listeners also enjoy this. I think you do. This is Gnosticism reinvoked. We're right here. We're not hiding. We're not hiding at all. We're just getting started here. And you've seen nothing yet. And that's why the Gnostic Takeover is unleashed right now. And it's just the beginning of spring here. Don't know where on the earth you are right now. But this baby is being born, and it's a beautiful baby. And many, many more babies, please. Because I thought I was poly whatever, poly and magan. I'm actually, I'm different. I realized like I'm actually different, and that's I just got to know last month. So I'm getting to know myself deeper, and actually I suddenly realized I'm someone who really likes a relationship with one woman when it was completely different the whole time. So this is what I mean with the awakening. Stay true to yourself, stay open, and when you tell the others to wake up, guess who's here to wake up, and guess who's entering a new, deeper phase of his or her own awakening. Oh, what a beauty, that magic. Okay, those two pillars, massive. 9/11, 11/11. It all ties in. So did they smash the two pillars of the yin and the yang, the anima and the animus, the love of male and female, with the transgender agenda right in front of our eyes, and no one could read it? Wow.
Wow.
That's a big
powerful.
one. But we've already, the ideas just keep coming in. That source energy of the pyramid is flowing, I guess. I feel completely different to last week. And what's going to happen next? I mean,
me too. Me too. I feel like the evolution process is so strong. The more I feel like I'm standing in my power and my true authority and connecting with myself. It does come through, and you'll start to see the changes in yourself, and you come out of that dark hole that you're in. I promise you. I truly promise you. Okay. Yeah. And not to say there's other storms not coming our way, but the more we prepare ourselves now, the stronger we'll be prepared for any challenge that comes, and then we'll be immovable, and then we'll be able to be the movers and shakers of this beautiful world that we are going to create.
Yeah, the reason why me and Ahmed and Eril and the crew and all the rest of you are taking over is because of the fact that we've been through the dark massively, and we're coming out of that dark quickly with each other. You see, this is not scripted. Any of this is not scripted. And that's where the force of the source can work directly through you and inspire. And we could chat on continuously, but we're going to have to call it a day, because this was massive. If you like these shows, everything's for free here. Go right down to the details, okay? And just support us financially also, okay? We know you've got your support on all levels, but if you can make a donation, become a patron, whatever, we'd love that, and it would really help us, and we'll just continue on anyways, okay? We've got the full support of the source. We've got the people, and this is what it is all about. It's about you, the people. It's about knowing that you are out there. We're going to meet you. I'm going to meet Ahmed. I've never even met Ahmed. And he's my freaking best friend already, you see? And this is how it works. So my mum's just knocked on the door, because so we wrap this up. This has been amazing. And Ahmed, truly blessed. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this conversation. And we'll speak very, very soon, all right?
Honor and pleasure.
Good. Much love to all of you. The Gnostic Takeover. You lock us down, you know what happens next. We take you down. Take care. Cheers.